The Battle of Vĩnh Yên, which occurred from 13 to 17 January 1951, was a major engagement in the First Indochina War between the French Union and the Viet Minh. The French Union forces, led by World War II hero Jean de Lattre de Tassigny, inflicted a decisive defeat on the Viet Minh forces, which were commanded by Vo Nguyen Giap. The victory marked a turn in the tide of the war, which was previously characterized by a number of Viet Minh victories. Prelude. By October 1950, the Viet Minh had seized the initiative from the French. Operating from bases in the People's Republic of China, Viet Minh troops under GIAP constantly raided French outposts along Route Colonial 4. At the end of the attacks on October 17, the French had lost 6,000 troops, stunning the French government into action. The High Commissioner for Indochina, Léon Pignon, and the Commander-in-Chief of the French Expeditionary Corps, General Georges Carpentier, were both recalled. Paris replaced him with General Jean de Lattre de Tassigny, widely considered one of the greatest French commanders after his spectacular leadership of the French First Army in World War II. De Lattre came to Hanoi, Vietnam, on 17 December and assumed both military and political control of French Indochina. The French Far East Expeditionary Corps numbered some 190,000, including 10,000 serving in the French Air Force and 5,000 in the French Navy. The French occupied most of the country, but the Viet Minh held considerable portions of the countryside that allowed quick and easy access to various crucial points should a need arise. GIAP had 5 divisions, all armed and equipped by the Chinese, composed of about 10,000 troops each. 4 of the 5 Vietnamese divisions were roughly 150 miles north of Hanoi, stationed around the Viet Bac region near the Chinese border. The 320th Division was located southwest of the Red River Delta, which was controlled by the French. The dawn of 1951 heralded tremendous prospects for Viet Minh's success. GIAP and Communist Party strategists planned for a massive offensive which would drive the French out of their homeland. GIAP decided to strike straight for Hanoi and chose Vĩnh Yên, 30 miles northwest of the capital and the tip of the French defensive triangle, for the main blow. Battle. Dispositions. Vĩnh Yên was defended by 2 French mobile groups of 3,000 men each. GM3 guarded the town itself, whereas GM1 held a series of key blocking positions to the east. GIAP hoped to drive a wedge between the two forces by pinning GM3 against the Dam Vac Lake to the south and then defeating the French in detail. In late December, GIAP had moved the 308th and 312th Divisions from the Viet Bac into position along the Tam Dao Ridge. On January 13, 1951, he attacked. The battle. The 308th Division made a diversionary attack on Bao Chuc, a small outpost about 2 miles north of Vĩnh Yên. GM3 quickly moved north to relieve the beleaguered 50-man garrison, but they were ambushed by forces from the 312th Division at Dao Tu. A series of heavy airstrikes and artillery barrages eventually allowed GM3 to disengage and return to Vĩnh Yên, but not before it had lost an entire battalion and had another severely damaged. Viet Minh forces followed their success by taking a string of hills in front of Vĩnh Yên. On the 14th of January, De Lattre arrived in Vĩnh Yên to take personal command of the fighting. He ordered GM2 to come from Hanoi as a reserve, GM1 to attack west and break through to the town, and also called for heavy airstrikes along with more reinforcements. GM1 managed to successfully advance along Route 2 and joined GM3 for a number of attacks which drove the Viet Minh out of the hills they had recently captured. On the 16th of January, however, the Viet Minh launched a massive human wave assault with the entire 308th Division. De Lattre replied by ordering the largest French airstrike of the entire war, in which napalm was used for the first time on a large scale. Giap's troops initially fled, only to come back and continue fighting. In the early hours of the 17th of January, French soldiers on Hill 101 ran out of ammunition and withdrew, soon followed by the Viet Minh capture of Hill 47. GIAP now had control of the center while the French controlled Hills 210 and 157 on the flanks. At dawn, the 308th Division attacked again. De Lattre used GM2, his last reserve, to support Hill 47 while GM3 was sent to the isolated French position on Hill 210. More air and napalm strikes followed both attacks. Finally, French aerial forces proved decisive. The 308th Division began to retreat and the 312th launched one more desperate attack to reverse the decision, but it was too late. By noon on the 17th of January, both Viet Minh divisions scrambled for the mountains. Aftermath. Although the impressive French victory did not provide any short-term reprieve, GIAP would try to breach the line again shortly. It was a morale booster for French forces and confirmed that Paris had made the right decision in picking De Lattre to lead the effort against the Viet Minh. Strategically, the battle meant that the war would go on and ultimate victory would not be easy for either side.